Hello and welcome to Mr. Itzo's very first math help video. Okay, so we are doing two-step algebra rules. We need to solve a problem involving a plumber and his payment schedule. So we learned in the problem that he charges $80 per hour to fix items at his house, and he also charges a $25 flat fee just to visit. So the first question asks us create an algebra rule for the plumber's payments. And it says, hint, create a T-chart first. So we talked about T-charts a lot in class as the first and easiest strategy to get started with a two-step algebra rule. So we're going to start by setting up our T-chart with term, value. Now, I find that the students have a hard time on visualizing this, so what I sometimes encourage them to do is to draw a diagram sometimes. So a diagram might look something like this. For 1 hour, it's going to cost us $80. For the second hour, it's going to cost us $80. The third hour, it's going to cost us another $80. But then we've got the flat fee of $25. This type of a diagram can be really helpful. 1 hour is going to cost us $80. The second hour is going to cost us another $80. The third hour is going to cost us another $80, but always we just have the flat fee of $25. So for the first hour, we're looking at $80 per hour plus the flat fee of $25. So in our T-chart, for 1 hour of work, we're looking at 80 plus 25, which is 105. 2 hours, 185, because we're doing two $80, which is 160 plus 25. The third term is going to be three $80 plus the flat fee of 25, which is going to come out to $265. Now, usually 3 terms in your T-chart is enough. The next step is to draw your bubbles. These magical bubbles is what we call them because what they always do is help us determine our rule. Now, the bubbles are basically what's happening between each of these numbers, and the students should be able to determine using a calculator or just an understanding of the problem that every time it's increasing by 80. So if they see that plus 80 appearing every time, they then use that as their algebra rule. N times 80. And so once they've determined that the magic number in the bubble is 80, we are going to create a one-step algebra rule of n times 80. And so I've gone ahead and added a third column to our T-chart and filled in the values. Now the students will then look and realize that there's still a second step missing because these numbers are not matching each other. And from here, I usually encourage students to cover up the value column so that we're not getting too confused. So what they can do is just take their hand and cover that up. So we're not getting too confused, but they want to look and see what do I need to get from the right to the left, and they should determine that it's missing 25. For all of them. Now we've worked a lot on recognizing patterns in charts, so that's not too hard for them, and they're allowed to use a calculator for that. So I'm going to put plus 25 up here. So then I encourage them to go 80 plus 25, which is going to now give you that 105 that we're looking for. 160 plus 25, which is 185. 240 plus 25, which is 265. And 320 plus 25, which is 345. And then I ask them to cover up that column and ask themselves, are the numbers now matching? Which they are. So you know that the algebra rule is correct. So the algebra rule for this problem would be n times 80 plus 25, which makes total sense to us because it's going to be n, which is the number of hours, or you could even assign another variable like h, times 80 for the number of hours, plus 25 for the flat fee. Now, on the back, there's a question about how much would it cost for 27 hours, I believe. So then all you're going to do is you're going to substitute that 27 into your formula. N times 80 plus 25. And when n is equal to 27, we do 27 times 80 plus 25. And of course, this is something that they would be using a calculator on. And the correct answer will be, and the first step that they're going to solve is the multiplication, 27 times 80, which in my calculator is telling me is 2160, but then we also have our friend plus 25 to bring down, and the answer would be 2185. And on a test, because this is a word problem, I would be expecting some sort of a sentence that communicates how that number relates to the real world of the word problem, which would be the plumber charges $21.85 for 27 hours of work. Okay, sorry for the shaky camera and the sloppy video. My next one will hopefully be better. Thank you for watching.